Here's another little peek into the mind of Paine. These aren't lectures or anything like that. It's just a little like, I want to give you a different perspective maybe, or talk about something that you haven't thought about. And I'd be interested in hearing what you've got to say. Right below, I want some opinions on things, anything really. I was listening to a sciencey show on the internet the other day, and they were talking about scale. And okay, that little period where, here we are. Right, you see, just there, there's at the end of a sentence, there's a little period, a full stop. If this little dot was representing the sun, our sun, the big shiny thing up there. And remember, you can fit the Earth into the sun 1 million times. Or was it 1,000? I don't know. I think it's 1,000. 1,000 times. So the sun is pretty big. But if it was represented by that one little dot, the Milky Way would be the size of the Earth, the entire planet. That's how small we are. And they estimate that there's about 1 trillion, that's 1,000 billion galaxies. One dot is the size of the sun. Whole planet's one galaxy, and there are perhaps 1 trillion galaxies. That's fucking crazy. But anyway, I keep seeing these like people posting how they hate data centers, and they're posting it on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. I'm not saying data centers are a good thing, but if you're watching this, where do you think it's stored? In a data center. If you type an email and send it to someone, you're using a data center. So yeah, I understand that you hate them because they use water, but golf courses use 20 times more water. And it's complicated, but we do have to have data centers, because without data centers there would be no internet, and without the internet and other things, we'd all be bored. We'd actually have to sit and do things. Oh man, that's not such a bad idea after all. Huh. The situation in Ukraine right now is absolutely fascinating. It's quite complicated. I'll try and keep it a little bit simple. Russia and Ukraine are just locked right now, and they can't. Neither of them can really move because land forces would be needed, and if either of them move land forces into a kill zone, then they get killed. So they're just hitting each other with drones left and right. So the bottom line is the person who's got the best drones will win, and that's Ukraine. They are head and shoulders above any other drone technology in the entire world. People had never done this, and now they've got these amazingly advanced AI-controlled drones that are going 10 kilometers in to pick up a wounded soldier, put them onto a little tray thing, and bring them back. They've got other drones that are flying 500, 600, 700, 800 kilometers into Russia and hitting a specific window. It's nuts what's going on. But what they are doing, because they want to win, is they are choking Russia off. Russia went into Tomsk and that whole southern area, Zaporizhia, Crimea. So what they do is there's a supply road that runs between there. They've already pretty much destroyed the railway, so they can't take anything. The Kerch Bridge is just broken. It can't take any strains, so they're not destroying it anymore. There's no point. And there's this highway, and it's been turned into the highway of death. If the Russians try and supply themselves down this one highway, which goes from the mainland of Russia down to Crimea, it's hundreds of kilometers long. They just get killed. They just get popped off straight away. There are Ukrainian drones hovering constantly, and they just, when they see a truck, they call in another drone, and boom, truck's gone. So the entire highway is littered with Russian trucks. And this information isn't coming from the Ukrainians. It's actually coming from Russian military bloggers who are pissed off that they're not winning. And they keep listing all the things that are going wrong. And that they can back up the information, because the information I'm getting is coming from these people who watch all these Russian channels and the Ukrainian channels and other channels as well, and then assimilate all that information and put it in front of you. But yeah, they're seeing this happen. They're backing it up with satellite imagery from deep state, and yeah, there's nothing is going along this road anymore, and if it is, it ain't getting far. So that's a good thing. It's just being choked off, and they've got complete aerial control over that now because they've knocked out all the radar stations. If a Russian radar works because you send this little thing up there, goes around and around, sends out a signal, bounces back, and you can see where things are. But to see radar working, you've got to send a signal out. It's active, not passive. So if you're sending a signal out, the Ukrainians are like, "Oop, there's one," and they just immediately destroy it. If they move it anywhere, the AI drones are trained to look for these specific vehicles, and bam, they knock them out. So the Russians have put themselves into a place where they've just got no hope. Ukraine destroyed 2 big Tu-142s. These are big, old bombers, but they still drop bombs, and 2 of them got destroyed. And Russia can't replace them now because they're so old that they don't make the parts anymore. And they've already completely cannibalized all the ones that did work. Interestingly enough, America is also flying very old aircraft. The B-52 is as old as I am. I mean, it's been upgraded. I'm still waiting for my upgrade to come, but the B-52 is getting new Rolls-Royce engines in, and it's going to be like a new aircraft again. But the actual airframe is 50, 60 years old. And I've always supported the underdogs. Last night I was out watching a football game with my friend Peter, Paris Saint-Germain versus Arsenal, and I found myself, Arsenal were kind of the favourites to win because they're a very good team, but Paris Saint-Germain, I rehearsed this, Paris Saint-Germain are also a good team, and they kept possession. Even though they're the underdogs, they kept possession 72% of the time. And the longer you've got the ball in your control, the more often you can score. But the Arsenal defence was very strong. And then it ended up they beat them in penalties. 2-1 it came to. So it was a good match. And interesting to watch it here in Malta. Quite a lot of French supporters here in Malta, which is kind of nice. But supporting the underdog, I don't know. I've always fallen into that. 4 days ago, the Russians hit a McDonald's in Kiev, like wrecked it. I mean, the missile didn't hit it directly, it hit next door, but it wrecked. There's photographs of this wrecked McDonald's. And yesterday, the Ukrainians reopened their McDonald's and it looks as good as new, because everyone just swarmed in, cleaned it up, fixed it, and got it back on the road again. I don't eat McDonald's, but I'm glad to see that they've got it back operating within 2 days of getting hit by a missile. That's amazing. I mean, that's the resilience and fortitude and courage of the Ukrainian people blows me away. We could all learn from it. I'm just getting, hang on a second. Oh, thank you. Someone's just handed me, it's Trump's speech. All the artists, apart from Vanilla Ice, cancelled their performances because they got lied to and some of them just didn't want anything to do with it. But I have a copy of Trump's speech because he's going to perform for 2 hours because he's better than all the performers. He said he's going to talk about windmills, how the 2022 election was stolen, and the 24 election. Every election he ever lost was stolen. More about windmills, and not much else. Anyway, thank you. See you again soon. Bye-bye.